Hi everyone, welcome to my video all on fasting. I hope you find this useful. I'm going to do a quick summary to begin with and then a few kind of more bits of detail nearer the end. So fasting has been around for centuries and has been practiced in multiple cultures, but it's really become kind of a hot topic in the health and wellness industry for its proposed health benefits. But what's the actual truth behind them? So to go back from the beginning, it all kind of got kick-started from a guy called Dr. Sachin Panda, and if you're into fasting, you need to know his work. He did quite a few mice studies where he took a group of mice, split them, gave them the same amount of calories, the same diet composition as high-fat, high-sucrose diet, but one had access to 24 hours and the other had access for 8 hours. And what he showed was simply changing the feeding window protected these mice from weight gain and development of obesity and metabolic diseases. And there was actually a 28% difference between the two groups of mice. And this obviously got everyone really excited because we were started thinking, if we simply just restrict the time period that people are eating, will this protect them from the kind of typical Western diets? The answer is no, unfortunately. And that's really my key point I want to get across. Fasting is not the be all and end all, it's not a magic bullet, it's not going to cure everything, but what it does do is create behaviour change with very little intervention, and it's free. That's why it's so great. So if we now look at kind of humans and fasting and the implications, it has a lot to do with chrononutrition, which is when we're eating, and our natural circadian rhythms. When we look at shift workers and people who have very irregular meal patterns, we can see that these alterations in your natural rhythms increase your likelihood of developing type 2 diabetes, putting on weight, cardiovascular disease, hypertension, and this is literally just from changing when you're eating. So time restricted feeding is great because it enables you to create more structure, a better flow in your day, and also when it enables you to know when to not eat, and that is what is so important, and that is what a lot of people get wrong. Late night snacking, mindless eating, kind of constant munching throughout the day is not good for your health. So if you know that you have a set structure and a set window to consume your nutrition in, then it's going to be a good thing for your health, purely from the fact that you're going to be eating less and you're going to be eating more in tune with your natural biological clock. Where it gets a little bit more interesting is when we look at people like Dr. Walter Longo's work, and this is all work associated with longevity and also cancer, which is again a touchy topic because you have a lot of people who are taking this fasting way out of context and saying it's going to kind of cure cancers, which just isn't the case, and it's so important to be clued up on that. So when it comes to longevity, we see that with fasting, Walter Longo developed something called a fasting mimicking diet. We see something called autophagy, which is essentially kind of older, less robust cells are cleared out, and it makes way for new stem cell rejuvenation. We can see this again in mice models where you restrict their calorie intake and they live longer. But again, it's hard to do this kind of research in humans, and we're not really seeing the evidence in humans. But Walter Longo's work is fascinating. It's definitely worth a read. But I can't preach what is out there yet because it's not strong enough, essentially. But go and read up on it. So the period of time that the studies are showing is around 72 hours of fasting for stem cell rejuvenation. But Walter Longo's work challenges that and saying you don't have to do such prolonged period of fasting to get the same longevity benefits. So to summarise, time restricted feeding is a fantastic tool in order to lose weight in a really easy, kind of non-expensive way. Be careful that you don't become too restrictive if you are going to implement it. And it's also a great way to increase your metabolic flux, which is something that I'm quite keen on and I do with quite a lot of my clients. This is essentially taking that fasting window in the morning if you're pushing back your breakfast and utilizing some low intensity exercise. It's a great way to tap into your fat reserves, and for long-term sustainable weight loss, improving metabolic flux throughout the day has been shown to improve kind of weight loss outcomes. If you'd like any more information on it, I've only just skimmed the surface, but I'm conscious of time, and then please just shoot me a message, or I'm more than happy to do a part 2.